What is up, guys? Welcome back to today's YouTube. We have got a very, very special day. It's a day that I hold very dear and close to my heart. It's my MK coaching seminar. This is now the 4th year consecutive we are running our team meet day. It has evolved massively since 2020, where it was first actually held at my gym. The turnout was incredible. We all had an amazing time, but each and every single year, especially since the wife has joined me, we have actually made it more of an incredible event, an event with guest speakers, and an event that only brings value to our clients through education and bringing in some inspiring figures that not only will give you the tools to become a better version of yourself, but my goal is for every single client to actually walk away from the seminar with a new level of inspiration, discipline, and dedication, and the tools that they can use in order to develop, grow, and keep progressing. So guys, please support the channel. Please subscribe, please hit the like button and the notification button. There will be much more content coming your way, and I cannot wait to show you this year's annual Team MK coaching seminar. Right guys, so extremely busy day for me. We've got to get the food ready, but we've got Eamon over for a check-in, so we've got clients over before the team meet for in-person check-ins. So we're going to show you a little bit of this as well, and show you the full day. So let's get it. Right, so we've got number 2. We've got my man Randy here from Netherlands with his lovely missus. So check-in number 2. Let's go, big boy. It's getting a lot of size, so we're going to see how it's looking now. Right, so Frederique's just had an operation not that long ago, and recovery's been pretty damn fast, and she's actually managed to hold everything perfectly. So this is going to be our start point for the off season right now. Now Randy's deep in the off season, as you can see. It's definitely getting there. So it's definitely moving very well. There's a lot of size has been gained, so very happy with that, man. I'm definitely very excited for the day. It's already been a very busy one and a very early one with clients coming over. I had Hannah over at 6:45. Obviously had my morning walk, then my physio with Will. Obviously meal 1 now, it's 9:10, so I've got to eat this and get to the venue for 9:45, which luckily the venue is 10 minutes away, so it's pretty handy. So see you guys there.
Hello YouTube and welcome back. So today is the MK coaching meet day. We've been doing it now. Kuba started it when he was just Team Kuba. Obviously he started his coaching business way before me. I became an integral part of that, and then that's when we became MK around 3-4 years ago now. So obviously very exciting. We started off by just having everybody at the gym doing a posing seminar, doing a good chat, etc. We then progressed onto an almost classroom style area where we had just our clients come in. We've had that for the last 2 years here at Magna because we wanted to make this year, and obviously as we progress as a business as well, further and further. We've now been able to get a bigger space in Magna, where we have more kind of lecture style seating rather than classroom style. We've got some incredible guests today. We've always had incredible guests. We've been very fortunate to have great people that we know within the industry that want to be able to give back to it, which is what this day is all about, talking about their experiences, their kind of ways in which they've built themselves up, their mindset, their focus, things that drive them, that hopefully our clients will be able to get some real good kind of inspiration from, which is what this day is all about, being inspired, getting motivated to just be better, which I'm really excited for. It's going to be a great day. We've actually opened it up to non-clients as well this year, so this will be our first year that we have people that are from outside of the MK community that hopefully will become part of MK. We've obviously launched our excellence program where we obviously help other coaches become better or other athletes become better, all part of that same community that are obviously able to come to events like this as well. So it's going to be a great day. We'll go through different points at different times, and Aaron will get everything on camera, and it's going to be a wonderful day. Hopefully you all enjoy it as well, and if you do want to come next year, let us know.
Just got to get the head in the game. Got to get the head in the game. Got to get focused. A little bit of shadow boxing around the back. Whoa. Be all right then. Just kidding. Just kidding. On a serious note, I do love days like this. It's definitely inspiring seeing all these people here. Definitely a reminder of why I love bodybuilding so much. It definitely brings a lot of people together that generally wouldn't happen. So it's going to be class. Welcome back to our annual Team MK Coaching Seminar. It's amazing to see some familiar faces back with us again this year, and it's great to see some new faces as well. So today's seminar is going to be a little bit different because of the guests that we will have in attendance. One of them being our very own Mr. Olympia, Ryan Terry. There's a lot of people in this room right now that are only scratching the surface of the potential, and it's my job to certainly help you reach that potential and break through a certain plateau that I think every single person can get through with the right push, the right inspiration, the right motivation, right? Before I bore you a little bit more with my spiel, I want the wife to talk a little bit about her journey, where she started and where she is now, and how diving at Olympic level has given her the tools to become an Olympian right now.
Obviously, I started when I was 8, got onto it was called talent identification. If people know what grassroots is in football, it's essentially the same thing as that, but I got onto it literally within the first couple of months of me trialing out diving. I saw the potential. Potentially I wasn't the best at the time, but I saw the potential in what I was. And then as a bodybuilder, you pretty much know the story, but I started in 2016 as a bikini girl, progressed my way through, hated bikini, mostly because I don't like the flappiness, which I think that you're all great at, but it's just not for me. Progressed on to obviously wanting to do figure, but I won my pro card, so the step up to becoming obviously a competitive pro within the class now is further away. And I think that lots of people get put off because they don't win their competition the first time. It's like when I stepped onto the stage as a figure pro, as much as yes, it wasn't my first competition, but it basically was, because you go right back to the start, the bottom of the pack, you're right back where you were when you first started. So it is like doing the first show, especially doing a different category, which requires a lot more muscle tissue compared to obviously what the other category did. And I've just kept being committed, dedicated. I could have got really upset about the fact that I came last call out for the first 2 seasons that I did as a figure athlete. I didn't give up, I didn't get upset, I didn't get put down or disheartened just from the fact that I wasn't getting the accolades that potentially I was before as a bikini athlete. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people can learn, is that don't give up on the things that you obviously want to be able to achieve just because you don't achieve them in that same breath. Coming back to call out's awful, like you feel terrible, and it puts you right back to when you first start your first competition, where obviously you're potentially not winning. But not all of us can win our first competitions, not all of us can win our first shows that we do as a pro, as an amateur, as a bikini athlete, as a figure athlete, as a men's physique, as a men's bodybuilding. You can build yourself up over time. I wasn't blessed by just being able to look fantastic without working hard, and that's not any knock on anybody who does, because they still do work incredibly hard to be able to achieve the look that they do at the end of a competition. But I am someone that has had to build myself from the bottom up, obviously alongside having a fantastic coach and partner as well.
There's a lot of you guys here that are sat in this room right now that want to be pros. You want to be great coaches, you want to be great in business, you want to be great at everything that you do. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take a lot of failure, and it will take a lot of the hard times that you'll need to push through rather than the good times. And generally, the hard times is what's needed, in my opinion, to see you actually progress and see you push yourself into that next level. Up next, we've got Lucia Hughes. Some of you will know her because she was probably sorted you out with some amazing sheets for your coaching business. Now, Lucia has been an amazing tool, or provider of an amazing tool for our coaching businesses and giving us the support that we need to actually do better.
So some of you may or may not know me. I'm probably the smallest guest speaker here today. So I am obviously not a bodybuilder myself, but I have worked with a lot of bodybuilding coaches, bodybuilders themselves, and I'm going to talk a little bit about tracking data and how it's vital for success, and kind of show you some tools that could be applicable with your journey, or if you're a coach yourself and your client's journey. So just a quick table of contents. I'm going to give you an introduction to myself, just so you can see who I am. I'm going to go into the client intake from both the coaches and the client perspective, and just looking at lifestyle auditing as well. So that's going to be a great place to start when your client first comes to you, or when you're first starting your journey, or even right now moving forward. And then also just go into goal setting and reviewing, and then finishing with some data tracking and for physique development. So this is me. I'm going to continue to milk my title for the next couple of months. I finished my PhD in December in a completely unrelated field in electron microscopy and material science, so I'm not going to go into that. I use very big microscopes to look at very small things, and that's where I'm going to leave it. I've always had a huge interest in nutrition and training, so I've also got a postgrad diploma in performance nutrition, so kind of like to delve a lot into the nutrition side of things. And then I'm now the director and designer at Apex Coaching Systems, and I've been doing stuff for coaching systems since 2021, and that's actually when I first started working with Meg and Kuba, when we put together their first systems, and we've continued to progress them and optimize them over time. And since then I've worked with over 800 plus coaches across 15 different countries, and then also through 7 different languages. From a coach's perspective, this is where you get your client's information. You need to make sure that you are asking all of the right questions so that you're getting the correct information, but you also need to make sure that you're covering your bases. So that means you're asking the medical questions, so if you did need to ever refer out to a medical professional, that you are just have those bases covered. Injury history and stuff like that is going to be important also. And then making sure that you're getting to know your client. You need to know where they're at so that you can take them where they want to be. If you don't know their starting point, and if they're not truthful, that's going to cause issues, and you're not going to be able to work together in the correct way so that you can get them eventually, once we talk about goal setting, to their goals. Nutrition and daily scheduling / time management is going to be the easiest thing to fix for your client or for yourself. So they are the easiest thing to quickly note down. You just have to keep a diary or keep a nutrition log. You can quickly then throw it into like Chronometer, or if you show what you'll see in a moment, a system that we developed, and you can see different nutrition metrics. And then also you can make sure that the changes you are making are aligning with their goals. And then also, when implementing those changes from the very beginning, they can see changes almost automatically. So if that's potentially getting up 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier, they reap those rewards immediately. If that's getting out for a walk in the morning, they're also reaping those rewards automatically and immediately there.
Ryan has definitely come from very humble beginnings. His journey started from pretty much bottom up, starting as an apprentice plumber, working his way up, and that's legit, starting as an apprentice plumber, working his way up through the ranks, competing in his amateur days with UKBFF, turning pro, having an incredible pro career, and now having a great deal of success in business as well. So today, we will get Ryan to talk a little bit about everything about his journey as a pro, starting from a low-level amateur, building himself up, staying persistent and disciplined throughout his life, to now become our first Mr. Olympia in men's physique.
I didn't ever think I would compete, even though I was immersed in bodybuilding and I was around it from a young age. I never thought I would have the confidence because of that, the body dysmorphia or whatever it is, that I would ever step on stage in front of people with my top off. So I trained like a bodybuilder, I ate like a bodybuilder, I just never thought I'd have the confidence to step on stage. And it took 7 years to do that. And the only reason I did step on stage was because I was brought up very competitive. Because I was then working as a plumber, apprentice plumber, I was a pot washer in the evening, I did removals on a Saturday. Again, we were taught to work, so I had 3 jobs at that point through my teenage years. And it got to a point where I didn't have time to do sports anymore, but I still had that competitive side of me, which wasn't being itched or wasn't being scratched. So for me, when I got to the age of 20, around that age, 20, I thought, I'm going to step on stage for the first time. I'm going to do it just once, just to say, step out my comfort zone. And I was so inspired by how these bodybuilders around me had this work ethic, this just, undeniable. Every day they go into the gym and had purpose. And I picked a local show to me, thinking it was just a small local show, but it was just the closest to my house, which was Leamington Spa at the time. It transpired to be the UK Nationals, which was quite a big show. And the guy who I ended up against, a lot of people dropped out when this certain person came to it because he was world number 1 at the time. He was like Rob Richards, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he was like the Steve Cook before Steve Cook. So he was on all the front covers, he was Optimum Nutrition's top boy. And he was basically wanted to come and reclaim the title in the UK and this sort of thing. So I very nearly didn't step on stage. I remember dieting down, nobody knew I was dieting in the gym I was in. And the day before the show, I signed up to it. And as I got down, I was like, what am I doing? This is just insane. All my fears are standing in front of me, stepping on stage with my top off. But there was something that was like, right, I'm here now, I've got to do it. And as I stepped on stage, I became this other person, this alter ego came out of me. I became really confident. I became like I want to say angry, but I wanted to fight for something. And I loved that person. And I went out on stage and said, I'm here now. And I battled it out. And we ended up winning that title, winning that show. And I remember stepping off stage again like this. Even to this day, I'm like this backstage. I'm a very nervous competitor, but I just remember that elation and that amazing feeling I felt being on stage and competing. So that was kind of how my bodybuilding started. And I would never have imagined of what it transpired to look like and what it was become today. But it just, I remember thinking, right, I've got that title now, what do I do with it? And I didn't know about sponsors, I didn't know about all the career you could have with it. I just wanted to be the best in the UK at that time. Set myself goals, I wanted to be the best. And then 6 months later, I won the Arnold Classic. 2 weeks later, I won the British Championship. So I was the first ever guy to get his pro card in the UK in men's physique. I was the first Arnold Classic champion, I was the first British champion. And then that set something in my head. I was like, right, now I want to set some unrealistic goals. Then I wanted to do, in rankings, you've got the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, the Arnold Classics, and then the Olympia. And I was like, right, set all these titles I wanted before getting that Olympia title. And last year, all I needed was that the New York title, the Olympia title, and that was my career resume, which I set 10 years ago, and I've still got it to date to complete it. So last year, it took 10 years of graft. There was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of points where I thought, right, this is probably beyond me, or times where the titles were starting to slip away from me, my places were getting further away. And it felt like maybe it was time to give in. But then there was something in the back of my head constantly saying, well, no, you're not world number 1 yet. You're not, your time's not done, or your job's not done yet.
One thing that's going through my mind that I want to ask you today is, How did it feel to finally win the title after all them years? 21 years of work, how did it feel to finally win that title?
Yeah, this is probably not going to be the answer you actually think, I would say. So I had these massive dreams when I was going to win the title that I'd do so much with it. I know it sounds a bit cheesy saying like about doing charity work and this and that. I actually did. I had all these things I wanted to do with it. And if I'm honest, I kind of got robbed of what I wanted to do and to be able to celebrate it. It was my own fault, and this is why I need to win it this year, to be able to do what I wanted to do with it. And the reason is for that. It's because last year, I was actually going to retire. And it was a real hard decision for me to do it. But I was in the best shape of my life last year. Like, stepping on stage, it was the best I ever looked. And I placed one of my worst placings. I placed 7th. And it was a real eye-opener thinking, right, the division is obviously moving in a different direction, it's evolved, and I'm not what they're looking for anymore, otherwise I would have placed better. So I sat with my wife, had a few tears about it, and I was like, even though I didn't want to retire, I'm not somebody who just makes the numbers up. I need to know I've got a chance of winning. And obviously bodybuilding is a very selfish sport, and it affects not only you, but the people around you as well. And I've got 2 kids now, a young family and a wife who are very supportive. And I didn't want to keep putting them through prep to just get a top 10 finish. And that might be okay for some people, but for me, it was soul destroying. So we sat down, we made a plan, and hence why I built the gym. I built a lot of set up other businesses. I was transitioning away. I invested into the British Championships more so, because I was like, I need to shift my focus now. So I was building this 18,000 square foot gym, and there was a lot of stress that came with that. So winning the Olympia title, we could talk a bit about the prep as well. That was the hardest prep of my life. Like, I was living on 2-3 hours sleep at night. We had 40 odd contractors on site trying to work with them. I was trying to do the Oriental British Championships. I had a newborn in the house. It was just carnage. So all of this, when I won the title, I was expecting to be able to celebrate and everything. But then 2 days later, I was back in a skip in Retford, bashing down cardboard boxes and cleaning toilets, ready for the opening of the gym in January, because we didn't have time to celebrate it. So up until this day now, I haven't even raised the glass to it, which is sad really, because 21 years, that's all I've ever, or 10 years, was all I've ever wanted to do. So it means a lot for me now to be in the moment, to win it this year. I even, for the first time as well, I wouldn't let my family come out to Olympia last year, because it was my last year. When all my family come out, I'm always conscious of if they're okay, the kids are okay, and I'm thinking about their experience rather than about what I should be doing on stage. And I said, look, if this is my last year, I want to immerse myself in the Olympia. If I'm going to be for the last time backstage, I want to be present and just enjoy every moment, because it's going to be the last time I do this.
The things that Jordan's capable of, I don't think there's many people in the world that could even come close to. Now, Jordan is going to share a little bit of something different with you all today, guys. So this is definitely something that we're very much looking forward to, because Jordan has not been very open as of recent, and he's not been doing much content in general. So when you get Jordan to come out of his comfort of his home and come and see us today, it's definitely going to be special. Guys, round of applause, Mr. Jordan Peters.
That was a very kind introduction. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for coming. It's lovely to see you all with lots of familiar faces. So, I wanted to talk about something a little different today. Usually, when you hear me ramble on, it'll be on the same topics of volume and frequency and all those training kind of montages where I'm going off on. But I thought that I could probably give you something different to think about in regards to the way that the way you potentially approach your coaching business. Because I imagine the large majority of you in here are coaches. So I wanted to talk about how I built my coaching business, but also kind of what built me and formed my opinions as to how I view things, which essentially allowed me to build the business that I built. I think it's important to note that I didn't employ any strategies along the way. There was no pre-thought out, I'm going to do this to try to achieve this outcome. So that's one thing that I want to get clear. But when I reflect back on the past, it's then very clear as to why things unfolded in the way that they did, which is then how I can potentially share those things with you to then make you consider, are you acting in the best way possible to step your coaching business forward, to step your general decisions forward in a manner that allows you to reach your goals. Now, one of the big things to note is that I'm not a Gen Pop coach, and that is by no means me being disrespectful to Gen Pop coaches. If that's the area that you work in, then hats off to you. I think it's a very, very tough market to work in, very tough. The only area that I'm able to speak on is elite performance. And I'm going to go back to the very beginning to kind of explain how things came about the way they did. I will link it to kind of then ways you can use when you start thinking, okay, surely he's going a bit weird here, but I'll tie it back in. So I was very first exposed to the gym in general when I was 12 years old. I was a decent rugby player, and I'd just been contracted at Harlequins Academy. I was very, very small. I was very small. Super fit, super fast, teeny tiny. And I needed a lot more size and strength. So I was at school in South London, and Harlequins set me up with the GB Olympic weightlifting coach that trained out of Crystal Palace. So the very first exposure to me of ever touching a barbell in my life, my first ever coach was the GB Olympic weightlifting coach. So he was my coach for 3 years, 3 times a week. I did not know anything outside of that room. I was banned, quite literally banned from touching a barbell when his eyes went on me. So you can imagine a 12-year-old being exposed to that level of performance. You immediately lose perspective. You become entirely disconnected with reality. Because all you know at that point are the rest of those people in that room that were GB lifters and GB sprinters, and some of the GB divers, because they were also at Crystal Palace. But the only people in that room were GB athletes. So for 3 years, I looked around and I thought, okay, so this is what it takes. This is what's needed to be good at something. 3 times a week, every week, 3 years. I became essentially brainwashed, fully kind of just engrossed in my surroundings and the obsession to kind of progress and be accepted amongst your peers. Everyone wants to be accepted amongst their peers, right? But your peers are GB athletes and you're a 12-year-old, you've got to find something within you to try to even get a look of them. And I remember when I was 15 years old and I first benched 100 kilos and I first deadlifted 180 kilos as a 15-year-old, I was getting claps from the athletes. I became really close with a girl that was a GB sprinter. She was a 400-meter runner. And I'm doing my thing training, and I look over at her, and I can see she hasn't got a fucking clue what she's doing. She literally, she can barely even pick a barbell off the floor. She's a 400-meter GB runner. I go over to her, and she's got printouts of pictures of how to do her lifts. She has no S&C coaching, she doesn't know what she's doing. So I'm like, right, fuck all that, do what I say. I teach her how to lift. I teach her everything. Because she's a GB athlete and very in tune with her body. It took us about 2 months until she's cleaning, snatching, doing everything that she needs to do, moving proficiently, starting to get much, much, much stronger. So maybe now 3 months pass, and I'm sitting in like the cafe part of Loughborough. 2 girls come and sit down opposite me. I knew who they were. And they were like, Emma's told us what you've done with the S&C. Can we come along?
How important is it to learn from others and take the right information through? And how important is it to surround yourself with the right people as well in order to reach your goals?
So over the years, I've been to every seminar of every speaker that exists in this industry, quite literally. And I've travelled everywhere. I don't do it anymore. I'm kind of burnt out from it now. You reach a point where you're like, especially because of Instagram now, you can probably tell if you follow my Instagram that half the time I'm just taking the piss on there on my stories. I'm coming to the end of what I can tolerate with Instagram bodybuilding. But over the years, I travelled to every single speaker. I went and stayed with Milos Sarcev in Serbia. I couldn't get him to do anything else, but I was like, fuck it, I'll come and stay with you for the weekend in Serbia, which was a hell of an experience. But I went and stayed with Ben Mikulski in Tampa, and I stayed with Scott Stevenson in Tampa, stayed with David Henry. I can obviously just keep name dropping, but it's the point of actively seeking these people out. And it is quite tough initially for these people to take you seriously. It's quite hard to send these people a message and be like, I really want to learn from you. What's it going to cost? And will you do it? And sometimes you have to be pretty persistent. You've got to show that you're not fucking around and you are serious about this, because they will understand that there are people out there that are very serious people and they take their kind of progress through life incredibly seriously. And that's how I've always looked at it. Like, my obsession with progress has been applied to every area. Sometimes I spread it a little too thin. Admittedly, I'm guilty of that, in the sense that I have become obsessed with being kind of an entrepreneur, which is a lot of fun, but then that can start to take away from bodybuilding. And there's sometimes these things that you have to weigh up. But when you are very, very driven towards your progress, you will be able to gain access to essentially whoever you want if you're persistent enough. Yeah, you might have to save up some money to do it, but I assure you they are really worthy investments. So that knowledge is not just going to come to you. You have got to go out there and you've got to seek it. You've got to try to train with the people that you look up to. You've got to try to feed off their energy. You've got to try to learn from them. And I don't see many people doing that anymore. I don't see people. I traveled everywhere and I tried to learn with everyone, and I got on consult calls with everyone. What that then ended up doing as well is I then basically became really good friends with all these people too. Because guess what? They realized that I was their person. So if you are about that, and you want to increase how seriously you're taken in this industry, you've got to go after it.
The last guest speaker, aka the Giant himself. Now, Jamie has not only had a great influence on me in the sport, but definitely the way he conducts himself as a man, as a friend, and in life. Is a great person. He definitely deserves all the success that he's getting and receiving at this moment in time. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing his story, and more importantly, some of the lessons that he can share with us as to how he has approached his life after bodybuilding, and some of the things that we may not even consider that we'll probably need to think about for our future when the time is right. Guys, Jamie, the Giant Christian.
I would say for a lot of my young life, and not even adult life, my young life from probably 6 until 12, like my young life, before being like secondary school and stuff like that, that forced a lot of discipline, a lot of respect, a lot of character of my personality were forged in that period of time, because my stepdad was a kickboxer. He was a scary man, actually, to be fair. He worked the doors all his life. Kuba worked the doors at one stage, but yeah, he was a guy that commanded respect, not just from his kids and his family, but you could tell that he commanded respect when he went out in public. People looked at him and spoke to him a certain way, and I definitely noticed that as a younger kid, and was definitely scared a bit myself as well. So I think that taught me a lot of respect. It taught me to look up to my elders. It taught me a lot about character and, yeah, just respect in general, which I think in today's society, because it's very much more cotton wool and we can't do anything as parents or teachers or police officers, that level of respect has definitely changed from the way I see things. But I grew up with a huge amount of respect for the people that were older than me. There was a lot of violence in the house. There was often arguments about money. My mum was very dependent on my stepfather for money. And it enforced this vision in my mind that, okay, I will never, ever expect my family to ask me for money. Like, it's always going to be ours. There's never going to be a conversation about ownership over anything, because I saw my mum grow up with that distinct attitude towards my stepfather as being a provider, and that was really it. And there was many arguments, many plates thrown across the kitchen, many smashes at 2 a.m, visits to the nanas because we were being taken away for the night because they'd fallen out and all that sort of stuff. So not to dwell on that, I just think it created a very powerful sense of being in my mindset as towards what I didn't want to be when I grew up. Because a lot of people, they become their parents, they become their environment when they grow up. Hopefully, some of you are like me, and you can almost use your environment growing up in, if it is a negative one, to not be like that. And I think that's what my life's been all about. It's to be a better person, because I've learned from how not to do things. And that came through my career. When I started bodybuilding, I was always told, you can't be a bodybuilder, you're 6'5", you're too thin. And I did start bodybuilding at like 200 pounds. And when I was on stage last, I was 100 pounds heavier at 300. But it didn't deter me at one point. I was initially introduced to bodybuilding because my uncle came down the stairs in his front room one day with some black posing trunks on. I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here? He's posing in front of my mum, his sister. This is strange. What family have I been born into? Well, I didn't know that was bodybuilding, and he used to compete when I was like 12 years old. So that was my first interest into the male physique and how amazing it was that he'd sculpted what he'd sculpted. I think towards the end, like I was 37 in 2022 when I competed 4 times, and I competed at the Arnold's, competed in Italy, France, and in Nevada was my last show at the Reno show, Legions Festival. Now, if anybody gets a chance to do that show, it's fantastic. Like, it's a really, really good production, so I would really encourage people to go out there and do it, especially you, Meg, because I know the guy that runs that is a massive advocate of like women's bodybuilding and other, obviously, women's categories. And if you go to Reno, there's a place called Lake Tahoe, which is just absolutely beautiful, so bang some time on the end. But during that year, I was 37, and I was in my head that I'd compete until I was 40. Like, that was just a milestone that I was ready to back things off and become less of a bodybuilder and more of a family man and a husband. But my missus said to me that year, I think this is your last year. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit, what do you mean it's my last year? I'm doing this till I'm 40, Duck, like, you stay in your corner. In a polite way, obviously, because she's the boss. But that seed was sown, and at the Arnold's in Birmingham, when I did very well, for me, like, a top 6 of the Arnold was like a fantastic result, really was. So that was probably one of my favourite events and one of my best showings. Like that or France that year, I was like really happy with my look. I had a chat with Jay Cutler in the morning of the show. It's a funny story. I was coached by Milos Sarcev for many years. Milos was a great, not only coach, but probably a father figure for me, and just an inspiration in terms of, I was attracted to bodybuilding because of the aesthetic nature and the artistic nature of the sport, which I think has been somewhat lost in this day and age with like the huge physiques that we've got. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Milos was a great guy, and he was very successful in his time. Rang me up one day and says, Jamie, not even going to try and do his voice, make a mash of it. He says, I've got 20 grand's worth of £20 notes, but they're old notes, you've changed your notes in the UK, what are you doing? I was like, right, okay. He says, do you think you can get them changed at the bank and send them back to me? I was like, maybe. So anyway, the story is, long story short, manager Matt and Jay Cutler met me in a hotel breakfast, Hilton, I think, in Birmingham, to exchange £20,000 worth of notes into new ones. And they went back with him to Vegas for Milos. I don't think he gave me any money either, he just said thank you. I was like, fuck, you know, could have gave me 100 quid. I think these days, social media can make you or break you, honestly. And if you can be an advocate to carry the torch for people who do get negativity, then great. And I would say to all those people that receive negativity, you're only getting negativity because you're doing something right. And you're an inspiration to thousands of people online. For a period of time, it would affect me to see one or two negative comments. Now you just gotta just laugh, like really, like laugh at the stupid things you see. I've still got shit calves. My quads are all right, you know, I've still got decent quads. I'm trying to invent something at the minute whereby, imagine like an upside down pair of shorts. So the calves are covered, right, up to the knee, and then you've got the quads on show, that'd be perfect. I'm championing that at the minute. You wait and see, it's going to be blueprinted and patented before you know it. So yeah, I would say, Kuba, that really, long story short, my ability to have a thick skin has helped me be okay with this new silhouette, new identity.
There's a massive take-home message from today that I want you to take away with you. Every single person that has graced the stage has definitely achieved some wonderful things, right? And they have been in your shoes before, where you was either at the start of your journey or you had doubts in your own ability. Now, the only thing that's stopping you from reaching your goals and reaching your true potential or becoming the person that you wish to be is yourself. Because very often I see the limitations that you put on yourself are definitely not coming from external sources, are definitely coming from limitations that you actually set out for yourself. And even the lack of the action that you may wish to take on a daily basis, these are the things that are going to hold you back from reaching your goals. It's never anybody else, it's your own efforts, right? You can have a coach, you can have the best guru on the planet, but ultimately, it's not really going to make any change. You can set all these goals out for yourself. If you don't take action, if you don't make a conscious choice on a daily basis to take the right steps forward that are going to push you there, none of it matters. Your coaches don't matter. Your goals don't really matter. The only thing that really matters is your own effort that you put into a daily basis. And the guys that have shared the stage with me today have definitely proved that it's all possible and you can achieve great things. Ultimately, it's always down to you. It's down to your own efforts and it's down to the action that you take on a daily basis. So just remember that, guys. You are definitely more than capable of achieving great things. It doesn't really matter if people say that you are not. You definitely are. I had people tell me from a very early age, from age of 14 and 15, when I first walked through the gym, is that I'd never really be anyone. I even had it in school. When I first came to England, I couldn't speak a word of English. People always outed me. People always put me down in many, many ways. But I only use that as fuel. Now, if you find yourself in a similar position where something is trying to hold you back or somebody is trying to hold you back, use it as fuel. It might have to be a harsh reality that
the people in the environment needs to change as well. That's the experience I've had myself. It's 2017 I needed to change my environment. Could have gone down a very, very wrong path. But I made a conscious choice to be better, and I made a conscious choice to pursue my dreams in bodybuilding. And this is where it got me now. And I can honestly say, I'm living my dream every single day. So, as you can imagine, I can't help but feel inspired on a daily basis, not just through you guys, but through the lives that I've built and me being able to do what I've dreamed of as a kid. That in itself is a powerful, powerful driving force for me to basically keep moving forward and keep getting better.
Right guys, what a day. Extremely, extremely grateful and inspired to keep doing what we do. When I first started coaching and I first got into the industry, I never thought we'd get to this position, and I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but it's certainly bringing me into a position where I am not only filled with gratitude, but I am also extremely inspired to keep doing better and keep improving, both as an athlete. That's the main most important objective for me, because that's always driven me to be better. And one thing that I always need to kind of remind myself, everything that I do is fueled by my bodybuilding, and she probably knows that a lot. When I'm able to do my thing, I'm able to progress, enjoy my training, enjoy the process, I'm a lot more creative, I have better ideas, and I'm a lot better person to be around, and I'm a lot more efficient at everything else that I do. Definitely. So for me, that's something I need to protect in order for me to keep stepping forward and keep progressing. And I'm extremely grateful to Meg for giving me that support and allowing me to do that as well. Because without her, I definitely won't be able to do everything that I do. And days like this probably would happen, but they wouldn't be as good as they are right now. But the first team meet was actually in the gym. Meg was already a part of that, by the way. And she was already starting her incredibly successful coaching career.
I'd only just started.
Yeah, but you was already pretty much rocket fueling because of your, not only the skill, but also how you coach, which is amazing to see for me. But I definitely want to say a massive thank you to all the clients, massive thank you to guest speakers, massive thank you to Aaron, who has been putting some great work in. He could definitely continue to develop, still got some work to do, as we all do. But again, effort is there and passion is there, which I value extremely a lot. So massive thank you to everyone in attendance, massive thank you to the wife. I feel incredibly proud of
I thought your
today.
comparing was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that what you call it, comparing?
What's that?
You're on a compare, aren't you, when you're interviewing people and stuff? Yeah, but I'm from Barnsley, even worse.
Either way,
I thought your questions were brilliant.
very proud to be in the position we're in right now. Extremely proud to see Meg developing and becoming the person that she is, both as a professional in bodybuilding and in coaching. It's definitely inspiring me a lot to continue getting better. And it's just, I know the way I tick, I know the way I work, and I know what I need to do now to keep getting better, and that's protect my happy space, which is being able to train and bodybuild, really. Now, I'll hand it over to the wife.
No, it was a great day. Very proud of the progression that has happened since we've started the business of MK. It's coming up on 4 years now,
Yeah.
I believe. Obviously, Kuba was coaching a very long time prior to that, pretty much 10 years. I've learned everything that I knew through Kuba, so obviously hats off to Kuba, and probably everybody that's in the room, especially his clients, can take hats off for the way in which they've developed as well through obviously his knowledge and expertise. And we're just so, I think that this year's, every year it just gets better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And this year's group of guest speakers and the things that they shared today, I think that so many people will take a lot from it. So I think that it'll be great to see that progress even more into the future.
Now, a huge takeaway point for you all right now. If you want to learn, if you want to get better, if you want to progress at anything that you do in life, the circle of people around you is extremely important. I do not surround myself with many people anymore. I only surround myself with people that are on the same mission as I am, and the people that I can give my energy to, but that energy can be reciprocated in a positive way. And that's super important for me. And I'm a massive believer that you never stop learning. And I am very much open to still continue to learn, continue to develop as an athlete, as a coach, in business, as a person, in relationships, as a husband. That's very important to me because I always say that I'm not the person that I wish to be just yet, but I'm definitely on my way there. And I think for me to become the person that I dream of and that I wish to be, I still have a lot of work to do, a lot of years of hard graft to put in on a daily basis. I've got a lot of goals that I want to tick off as an athlete still, but both as a coach and in business and in our personal life as well, that we often speak about. So one thing that you will all benefit from is making sure that you refine your circle, cut out any negativity, and make sure that you choose your partner wisely, because that will ultimately make you or break you. Having someone by your side like I have can definitely level up your life in every single way and give you the support that you need, because I lean on Meg a lot and she gives me the support that I need to be able to do what I do. It is both ways, but you know, it's definitely makes me happy knowing that, you know, I've got that kind of support where I can just do what I'm good at and do what I enjoy. And then obviously Meg covers the rest.
So it's good because I think that we're both good at potentially opposite things.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. Please subscribe, please comment, please like, please share. And I'll see you on the other side. Take care and peace out for now.